Pamela Anderson, we have a prime minister here that's all for fracking. We have Donald Trump who wants the North Dakota access pipeline, and you're wearing a crown. Why?
Well, I think it says Ecotricity on it, doesn't it? So we're trying to get people to switch to green energy. It's very easy in the UK to just switch your provider to Ecotricity. So it's the event tonight is Climate Revolution with Vivienne Westwood. So she put the crown on my head.
Do you see that propaganda in mainstream media is stopping that environmental message getting through somehow? Because population seem to be electing politicians that aren't as concerned as you are.
Like in America?
Of course.
Yes. Well, it's very sad because it's very real, and we're facing, extreme measures. And to have a president who doesn't believe in climate change or man-made climate change is very frightening. And people have to just speak up, and we have to take matters into our own hands. And things you can do is switch providers and use less plastic, eat less meat, do whatever we can to be easier on the environment.
But there have been protesters arrested in the past few hours in Britain against fracking. What happens if Donald Trump calls in the National Guard like President Obama did for the North Dakota access pipeline, for instance? What are they supposed to do?
Who knows? It's kind of everybody's guess at this point, but we just have to keep on fighting for what we believe in, and taking care of the planet has to be our number one priority.
We know a lot about the pressures brought to bear on our politicians by big energy companies because of WikiLeaks. And I know you've been meeting with Julian Assange. How important is information in this environmental battle?
It's very important. I think, even to bring up Ecuador, actually, didn't they win a big case against Chevron because they were polluting their country, and then for some reason everybody's protecting Chevron because they're such a big oil company. So I think we need to stand with Ecuador. They've been an angel to Julian, and information is everything. So we have to let people know what's going on so these big corporations can't just get away with what they have in the past.
Because the British government has police, secret police outside the Ecuadorian embassy. He's been on our show quite a lot, but he hasn't been for a while. How's he faring at the moment?
I mean, to be expected. It's very difficult circumstances. He's been in the embassy for 4.5 years and hasn't seen his children for 7 Christmases. He's committed no crime. We all, of course, gravitate to vulnerable people, and we consider that to be women and children first and foremost, which is important, of course. But there are also a lot of men who are in a vulnerable situation and politically bullied. No charges are against him, and if you read the reports, even in Sweden, Sweden has these very progressive laws against, sexual crimes, and it's almost too progressive. It's almost paralyzing. Where I'm going to actually start campaigning for men who've been victims of being accused of rape when they haven't done anything, because it really...
And just to bring this into context, before you met Julian, you were involved in women's charities, protecting women.
In this case, obviously, it's a lot of politics, and I think Sweden doesn't really know what to do, and we have to just make it known, the findings in the case, because when you read the actual case and you read everything about it, there's no crime that's been committed.
Because that's why people were surprised you were giving support to him, because in mainstream media in Britain, he's just considered as you say, someone who is charged when, of course, he hasn't been.
Well, that's why I'm giving him my support, too. It's because I've been so actively involved in women's issues and children's issues and issues surrounding this subject. And I know from experience and from just what I've read that he has committed no crime, and this is purely political. And I wouldn't support him if I thought he'd done anything wrong. So I think he's an incredible person. He's very, very important, and we have to support him in every way we can. So I'm, going to be relentless and let people know what I know.
We're obviously on RT, so I have to ask that natural question. People think nowadays in the mainstream media, commentators, politicians routinely refer to him as some sort of Russian spy. Yeah. Is he, and are you for being a friend of his?
Well, I think that's comical and also is very distracting, and it's just another distraction to get away from the actual information that he's supplying in the cables. They will do everything to, that's one, I think an American kind of tactic is to, when things get a little bit uncomfortable, they tend to blame Russia. Then everybody kind of jumps on that bandwagon when really they should just be paying attention to what the information is, and you'd have that's what they're trying to do, is distract from that, from the truth.
Do you think information war has been at the heart of all the different charitable things you've been doing? Because the way the tabloids would write about it or mainstream media would write about it, they'd ignore the issues in favor of other issues.
Yeah, well, it's part of it, and I feel like I can draw attention to important issues, and if I have to take a few hits and people want to say things, that's fine with me.
But say on Russia, for instance, a lot of people criticizing Donald Trump for saying that Moscow and Washington should move together, regardless of Trump's environmental policies and so on. Why do you think people don't want Washington right now, even the British government, don't want Washington to make rapprochements with Moscow at the moment?
I think it's just history. I think it's distraction, and it's a way to place blame on somebody. Actually, I just spoke at the Kremlin not too long ago with Sergei Ivanov, and we talked about a green economy, and they're so wonderful when it comes to the environment. Russia's making this the year.
Russia's been highly criticized for drilling in the Arctic.
Yes, but there's some really progressive movement that is encouraging to me.
And what next for the environmental work you're going to be doing?
Well, right now in Russia, for instance, we're trying to convince the Minister of the Environment not to use snares, which is very brutal.
It's for animal rights.
Yes, for animal rights. And, you know, I'm working with Greenpeace, I'm working with Sea Shepherd, I'm the chair of the board of directors of Sea Shepherd International, and I'm on the board of PETA, so there's always something going on. There's many issues, and they're all different issues in different countries, so everywhere I go I try to find out what's happening, and then I can bring awareness to it or go do something and actually talk to politicians.
Pamela Anderson, thank you.
Thank you.
We asked Chevron about allegations in that interview. They said,
Chevron agrees that the people of the Ecuadorian Amazon deserve a better quality of life. They lack basic infrastructure, including water and sewage treatment, but their government, not Chevron, is responsible for those conditions. Additionally, the Ecuadorian government against Chevron was found by a US federal court to be the product of fraud and racketeering and unenforceable in the United States. The company will continue to defend our employees and our shareholders against these false allegations.